So we're on the third part of a three-part video series where I talk about your journey post breakup and different stages that you go through emotionally uh, to finally, hopefully, get to recovery. So we've been through 1 to 6, and this is the seventh stage. The seventh stage is acceptance. And this stage is so crucial. This is the first stage in the healing process. This stage is when you stop ruminating about what happened, you stop questioning your role in how the relationship ends, and you start to accept the simple fact of the relationship, of how it really was versus how you built it up in your mind. Because one of the commonality of the stages before this is that you put your ex on a pedestal, and you make her seem like almost unworldly, and it's like this godly figure who left you and you have no meaning other than when you were with her. And at this stage, the stage 7 of acceptance is when you realize, hang on a minute, like she was just another girl. She's a human being. She had flaws, and she did things that really annoyed me, and she wasn't perfect. The relationship wasn't perfect, and it's okay. It's okay. I accept my role in that, and I accept what has transpired, but it's time for me to not hold on to it like it's some magical, mystical thing where, uh, like she was infallible. There's even the area in the brain that switch off the part that makes you crave and be obsessive about the person. So in this stage is acceptance. So what do you do in this stage? Like, how do you proceed to stage 8 and eventually stage 9? So in this stage, you have to refocus everything onto you. Take long walks in the park by yourself. And walking, guys, like walking is amazing. Like, I don't know how it works, right? Somebody who's better at neurology or whatever can describe to me, but walking in nature has a way of rebalancing you, right? It has a way of recalibrating you. So leave your phone at home and go for a walk. I'm not saying like a huge long walk where you're gonna get lost and you're gonna need your phone. Go for a short, 3 to 5K walk on your own. Leave your phone at home. Don't be distracted when you're walking. Don't listen to music, and just have this sort of peaceful, almost spiritual like surrender. Be okay with where you are in your situation. Meditate. Like I said, meditation is not about having these trans descending sort of trip around the world on a magic flying carpet, although some people make it seem like that's what happens when they meditate. Meditating is only, for me, it's about sitting still in your body and being comfortable with letting your thought come and go, right? And not holding on to anything. So when you train yourself to be able to sit there like that for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, what actually happened is you're building, and you're making yourself practice to be better at controlling your emotion when things get rough, when in the real world, when you're not meditating, when you're out there and you're stressed with your job, your boss is breathing down your neck with the project that he wanted last week, right? It's about learning how to sit still so that you can be still and have this sort of mindful awareness of things, right? It's I call it energetic calm, right? I know it's contradictory. Like, how is it energetic and calm at the same time? It's energetic in the way that you have sort of vigor in what you do, but it's a calm in the sense that nothing is so chaotic that you can't control. That's outside of what you can handle. Okay, so you're energized, but you're calm at the same time. So stage 7, when you're accepting, remember these things. And now we come to stage 8. And stage 8 is just simply finding meaning in it all, in all that you've been through. It's different to the previous stage where you're being a detective and you're trying to investigate and evaluate what went wrong and what did I do and when was the turning point. Um, is there a chance that I could still get back with her if I played my cards right? But this stage is more like a personal reflection that has you in the middle of it. What I mean by that is when you reflect on something that happens to you on a personal level, not to anyone else. So the person who left you, the person who broke up with you, is almost like a prop. It's almost like an English lesson that you took online or an AI course that you want to sign up to. You start to reflect and you want to evaluate how you could do things better in the future for yourself and the things that you've learned from the relationship. And my advice for this stage is not to be hard on yourself and not to make it all seem like it's your fault. Like be brutally honest and accept the role that they played and the role that you played, right? But also accept that not everything will be forever. Not everything is gonna work out exactly the way we want it. Life comes at us fast, and sometimes the best relationship can end out of the blues, and we have no control over that. The only control that we really have is how we react to things. We can't control the behaviors of others, we can't control the decisions of others, but we can control how we receive it and what we can do uh, through the best of our ability once it happens, right? That's the only thing that you can ever ask of yourself. So be kind to yourself in the reflection period. Be honest with yourself and allow yourself to say that it's okay. It's okay that it didn't work out. It's okay that I invested so much time, money, and effort, energy, all of that. It's completely okay that it's over now because I'm still me. I'm still here, and I still have a lot to give, and I'm learning to be a better person. I've learned to be a better person every time I had a breakup. I've become a slightly better version of myself so that in each new relationship I get into, and the older I get, I find that I bring a better version and a better self to that relationship. Ergo, the relationship in general will be better than it was before. So that's something you have to be really like proud of. I mean, it sounds cheesy to say that, like, be proud of yourself, clap, whatever, but seriously, guys, be proud of the mistakes that you make, because when you make a mistake and you grow from it, it's not for nothing, it's not in vain. So that's stage 8. And the last and final stage of the path to a breakup recovery is reconnection. And reconnection to yourself as a person, reconnection to your own identity of who you are as a person, who you are beyond that relationship. And like when you're in a relationship, what happens is you become a version of yourself that is sort of mirroring a little bit of what of the person that you're with, right? So if they like to go swimming, they like to eat pasta, you're gonna like to go swimming now and then and eat pasta more than you did before you got with this person, right? But this stage is about reconnecting to who you are as a person when you strip away that relationship and you go down to your very core, your very essence as a man. Who am I? What are my motivations? What are my dreams? Why am I here? What's my purpose? What am I really like when I'm not trying to pretend to myself or the world of who I really am? This is the time to explore that. This is the time to turn that stone and see what's underneath. Because I bet you any money that you are much more special, powerful, right, and righteous than you believe you are. Because sometimes when we're with someone, especially with someone who's toxic and they put us down, it's a bad relationship, we tend to think very lowly of ourselves, right? And we tend to put ourselves down, and we tend to have this false image of who we are. I'm not saying like, all of a sudden come out as if you've always been this great guy who was just, held back by this woman. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is try to be kind and be sincere with who you are and allow yourself to explore that side of you. So reconnection is a beautiful stage where you can start to do new hobbies, and you can start to really explore who you are, because the moment you fully realize who you are as a man and you're fully comfortable in your skin, a beautiful thing happens. The person who will be attracted to this version of you, your true self, is the person who's going to be 100% more compatible than the one who's left when you were pretending, when you were trying to appease them so that they won't leave, right? So you have to connect with a side of yourself and build it up so strong that it can never be pushed down again by anyone, whether that's an intimate relationship, whether that's a work relationship. You have to build yourself up to the sort of final form of who you are. I'm a 90s kid, I remember Pokemon. So you want to evolve to your last sort of pinnacle stage of who you are. And that's just part of growing older, and just part of being a man, is to be in a state where you're in congruent with who you are as a person versus who you're trying to be to impress others. So really reconnect to the self in this stage. And yes, meditation and all the things you've been doing in those prior stages help, but also journaling in this stage is a huge thing, because when we put words down on paper, it has a way of formalizing, and it has a way for us to really uh, sort of see things for what it is. Because sometimes, like when we just leave it in our head, it just flies all over the place, and is affected by what other people say, is affected by the social media that we consume. And when you write in your journal, that is so sacred. That is like yours to keep, right? That's yours to um, reflect on, right? So reconnect with yourself at this stage. And after you're done with this stage, don't rush back into dating. Don't rush back into a rebound. Really try to give it time, and allow yourself to enjoy your company. Allow yourself to explore who you really are. And when you feel like you're ready, and when you feel like you're strong enough, then maybe then you can open up and let someone new in. But just really live in this stage, the stage 9, for a minute, and see how it goes. So that's all for my rambling today. But if any of what I said hits the right spot and it connected with you, then please subscribe, comment, and let's connect.